Good afternoon and welcome to NHADEC's Lunchtime Connections. The purpose of this webinar is to introduce NHADEC members to one another and give each one the opportunity to tell us a little bit about their business and their capabilities. My name is Stephanie McLaughlin and I will be your host today. I'm the principal of Savoir-Faire Marketing Communications, a NHADEC member, and a member of NHADEC's Marketing Committee. The format of today's webinar will be as follows. We have 3 presentations. Each presenter will have approximately 8 minutes to talk about their company. At the end of each presentation, there'll be a little bit of time for Q&A. You can either ask a question of the presenter directly or type your question into the chat panel and I will pose it to them. To ask a question of the presenter directly, please raise your hand using the software interface and I'll call on you. I will be monitoring time and keeping us on track. I may close Q&A if we're running long. And please feel free also to raise your hand or use the chat pane in the software panel if you have any questions for me during the webinar. All right, before we start, one last housekeeping item. As this is lunchtime and I anticipate some of you might be eating lunch during the broadcast, I ask you to please put yourself on mute. All right, moving on to our first presenter. With us today to talk about the NHADEC Strategic Action Plan is Nate Nelson, who is speaking on behalf of the NHADEC Board of Directors today. Nate, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Great, thanks.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. As Stephanie said, my name is Nathaniel Nelson. I'm a board member for NHADEC and an international trade officer with the New Hampshire Office of International Commerce. Today I wanted to provide an overview of a project that my office and NHADEC have partnered on over the past year. Some of you may recall OIC obtained a federal grant via the Department of Defense Office of Economic Adjustment to fund a 5-year strategic planning effort for NHADEC. So my goal today is to highlight for you the background of the project, provide an overview of the strategic plan, and then discuss the plan's implementation. So Stephanie, if you don't mind moving to the next slide. So first let me discuss the background of the strategy. As you know, NHADEC is now about 5 years old, at close to 100 members with an expanded list of programs, projects, and goals. It became evident to the board of directors that NHADEC was at a significant turning point. It's a point of transition that if we took advantage of it, it would position NHADEC for success as it continued to grow. So that was the need for the strategic plan. At the project's onset, the board knew that we wanted to focus really on 2 things. First, we wanted to have a strategy that would help lead NHADEC towards long-term financial sustainability. And second, we wanted a strategy that was based significantly on NHADEC member guidance and feedback. So it was really important to the board that the strategy process included an unbiased self-examination of its mission. So as part of the process, we built in significant opportunities for stakeholder engagement. I think the major component of our stakeholder engagement process was a so-called think tank workshop, wherein the group explored the scenario matrix, which you can see on the right-hand side of the slide. The workshop in its matrix sought to explore 4 different scenarios of what we called futures. So what this means is that the group was given scenarios to work through and to determine what the future of NHADEC would look like were it to operate in one of those scenarios or on the chart, one of those quadrants. These various futures explored what NHADEC would look like if it expanded its membership and or if it transitioned its operational focus to become more of a sales consortium. Next slide, please. So while examining the futures, stakeholders were also asked to identify their preferred future. So this preferred future was meant to capture where stakeholders would ideally like to see NHADEC move towards through the strategic planning process. As you can see from the heat map on the right, specifically where the circle is, the greatest emphasis and therefore area of focus for the strategic planning process was on regional membership growth while working towards NHADEC being both a promotional and sales consortium. So what does this mean? I think at a high level, as far as geographic scope, the consortium will now look to expand membership efforts to regional, national, and international businesses and organizations. And there will be a continued focus on recruiting industry members within the organization. As far as the balancing act for the operational focus, the consortium will continue its branding and marketing efforts while also working to increase collaborative opportunities and international matchmaking services for the purposes of generating sales for members. Next slide, please. So with the preferred future defined, we then were able to proceed into defining what the pillars of that future would entail. Maybe said another way, what the strategic stakes in the ground would be for NHADEC. As you can see in the chart, the preferred future had 4 key strategic pillars, which inform the details of the strategy and, really more importantly, the strategy's implementation. I'll walk you through each of these pillars so that you understand what we mean by them and what the main goal is. And then on the next slide, I'll provide an idea of what each means for you as NHADEC members. The first pillar is strengthening organizational leadership ability and reputation. The goal and purpose here is to create an industry leader in NHADEC. And one respondent said it really best. They said NHADEC should have a, quote, leadership role in convening the industry. So doing this alone will really help NHADEC succeed across many areas and pillars. The second pillar is expanding membership to encompass a regional scale. As I mentioned earlier, one of the main purposes of the strategic planning process was to help NHADEC achieve financial viability and sustainability. So the goal here is to expand membership to achieve the right size for the consortium in order to be sustainable in the long term. The third pillar is building sales focus and capability. The goal here is to provide new business opportunities and growth for membership through various means. Done correctly, this will be another key way to generate additional revenue for the consortium. The final pillar is strengthening high-quality membership services. The goal here is to find new, complex, and diverse member services that will accommodate needs of varying members. Ultimately, we want to help you succeed, and again, speaking of that financial self-sustainability, we want you coming back for more. So stay tuned for what that will mean. Next slide, please. So now we've understood the goals of the strategic pillars. Each pillar has specific action areas associated with them. So as the NHADEC board moves to implement the strategy, we'll be looking to each of these action areas to help inform our efforts. I just wanted to quickly introduce some example action areas to you on the right side of the chart and cover what each means for you as far as a member impact. For strengthening organizational leadership ability and reputation, the member impact here is that this will build NHADEC's reputation and reach, and by association yours. So for example, NHADEC has recently created the very new Unmanned Systems Committee in an effort to become a key player in this emerging opportunity. By expanding membership to encompass a regional scale, the member impact is that this will increase your collaborative reach and networking opportunities across the regional supply chain. For building the sales focus and capability, this one is one of the 2 areas where members will see the biggest impact, specifically in the areas of sales opportunities. I'm very pleased to say that the implementation committee has already begun working on this area, and NHADEC is adding a sales pipeline service for its members, and we are already working on 2 unique pipelines, one international and one domestic. So definitely keep your eyes and ears open to that as more information comes forward. Finally, for strengthening high-quality membership services, this is the second area where members will realize the biggest impact. This is a broad pillar and broad action areas, but mainly the impact will be in providing you access to programs and services that will increase your visibility, networking opportunities, and technical competencies. So I think in conclusion, what will be the same and what will be different? NHADEC will be the same organization that we all know and love with the same goal of providing valuable services to membership to help you achieve growth. What will also be the same is NHADEC's commitment to its members' voices. Everything here in the strategy was based on member feedback and guidance. What's changing is that NHADEC will be growing in 2 major areas. First, the sales focus and capability. The second is expanding membership. And this will allow us to be more successful as we build our network. The strategy is available for review on the NHADEC website, www.nhadec.com. And we'll continue to provide updates at member meetings. So that's it. Back to you, Stephanie.
Thanks, Nate. Sounds very exciting, and I look forward to being a part of this organization evolving over time. It's some really cool stuff you got.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
All right, folks. Thanks so much to all our presenters, as well as our audience and attendees. I sincerely appreciate your time and attention. If you would like to refer to this presentation or share it with someone you think would be interested, the video of today's episode will be posted on YouTube and on the NHADEC blog. And if you were an attendee today and you're interested in being a presenter in an upcoming episode, please send me an email. Thanks so much, and we now return you to your regularly scheduled programs.
Thank you. Please stand by.